at 12:01. It's a possibility that the New Jersey Transit commuter service might be halted as a possible strike is looming by the Brotherhood of Engineers, or the BLE, Locomotive Engineers. You um, waiting word from the governor of the state of New Jersey, Murphy. He's supposed to have some kind of press conference on the situation. Um, the both guys have been very far apart in the negotiations, even though they were able to settle with the unions, but with the BLE, well, we don't know exactly what went wrong, but it's coming down to the wire already. Train and bus service has already been canceled for the Shakira concert tonight and tomorrow night, because if this is a strike at 12:01, how are the people going to get back home from the concert? So yeah, so unfortunately, Lyft and Uber may be doing surge pricing. Yeah, it's not. Oh, it's going to be fun tomorrow. Um, Even though I'm not riding the rails lately, I use the bus mostly, so I go over to George Washington Bridge in New York City. So we have to see what happens. Um, I'll keep you up to date tomorrow if it does happen, and how traffic it is when if I the 178 into Manhattan from Jersey. We're still waiting word from the governor. Not yet. It might start in 1 minute 30 seconds, around 10:30. So we're still waiting. So meanwhile, like I said, it's going to affect the commuter lines. Um, I think Amtrak is still be running, and SEPTA is Amtrak owns most of the infrastructure, but the other portions are not part of Amtrak. The Spring Valley lines and the other routes around Secaucus area and so on. Of course, Hoboken and those are New Jersey Transit. Those will be affected. I don't know if it's going to affect the freight operations of you know CX and New Jersey Transit. I mean, not New Jersey Transit. Norfolk Southern. Still waiting. It's almost that time. A minute away. Let's see what happens. And if we do get it, we'll put it on here. So yeah, it's 10:30. I still don't see anything yet. Waiting for the governor to get on and explain what's going on. Nothing. Well, we're still waiting. Right now, this is all we're getting from the governors, folks. Yep. Press conference, whatever it is supposed to take place at 10:30. Nothing's happening. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging my own tunnel. Not just kidding. So, yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for some kind of press conference from the governor of the state of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, about the possible New Jersey transit strike. And just like New Jersey transit trains, its press conference is running late. It's supposed to start at 10:30. It's 10:31. Oh, come on, dude. Believe me, I'd rather be doing something else, but you know, like an hour and a half away from a possible strike, and already I know some Shaquilla fans are not happy about it because they had no transportation to get to or from the concert. So that's gonna cost New Jersey a lot of money. Come on, Governor, where are you? Are you afraid that Trump's gonna come and bite you or something? Can't do anything to you. Okay, what's going on here? We're still waiting. Thing. See, maybe he's on something else. Let me check. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Nope. Nobody cares about Paris Week. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, this is so frustrating. Frustrating. Come on, Governor. Where are you? Yeah, the sun is still joking around. EPA and Copar's thrown over the freaking Titanic. Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be a Governor Murphy, New Jersey Transit CEO Chris calling to hold press conference impending rail strike, but we don't see anything. It's still blank. Just to show you what it looks like in case you want to do it on your own. Okay. Nothing. Oh, yeah, 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 these folks. Okay, how is it getting 6 likes and there's no freaking enemies spinning? Okay, something's spinning. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, James Comey is all the rage on X. Something about shells and seashore property and the way it was placed on an Instagram photo. Not too bright. Huh? And that was our former FBI director at one time. Yeah. Well, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. We don't know what's going on. Well, once again, if you come in, we're supposed to get a press conference by Governor, his name is, about the impending railroad strike. I was told by passengers, a group from TW
The
Local
Brotherhood of
100.
Board of Engineers.
Yeah, we know that. About the strike. And so far, Murphy is eluding us and not saying anything, nor the CEO. All we're getting is the site and the spinning circle. Yes, try this again. Come on. It's spinning again, it's spinning round and round, and spinning and round, and no Murphy to be found. Frustrating. This press conference is supposed to start at 10:30. It is now 10:38. Yeah, just like New Jersey Transit, sometimes the trains or the buses are not always on time. So is the governor. Some insults on X. I can't repeat some of it. I was waiting for a press conference from the governor. Where the heck is he? Looks like I'm doing a little comedy thing. Secret Service is officially investigating what James Comey did. Ugly. Maybe Comey should stick to TikTok. Yeah, we're still waiting for the press conference, and it's all I can get is this spinning circle. I mean, years ago when it was AOL, they had that crazy sound. Okay, what the hell's going on here? No, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Secret Service is investigating his behind. Stupid. As you may know, if you're coming in late, New Jersey Transit and the governor is supposed to have a press conference about a possible New Jersey Transit strike. There's supposed to be negotiations down the wire between New Jersey Transit and the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers, and I think they're still far apart, as you may or may not know. Uh, we had the Sheila concerts for tonight and tomorrow night, but no train or bus service for the area. It's supposed to be held in the Meadowlands. No New Jersey Transit buses or trains because if there's a strike, need their services for the morning rush. So, yes, the Akita fans had to find alternate transportation or they're screwed. Yes, her hips don't lie, but unfortunately, that's not the only taking. There'll be a lot of frustrated, angry fans shaking their fists and shaking their heads in rage. Probably cursing Murphy as we speak. And he's on his way out too. It's supposed to be a new election to replace the governor with somebody else. And well, you may know he had this Raska Barack clown who got arrested at a detention center in Newark. He still may be facing charges, so he's not clearly off the hook. Yeah, he might got some extra lawn signs put up now because of it, his little stunt, but I don't think it's doing much good for him otherwise. He still might be sitting in jail. It's running governor. We'll have to see what happens, but that's not here right now. That's not important. It's a press conference that doesn't seem to be happening. I don't know what's going on. Let's try this again. Mm, mm, hmm. What's this? Oh, yes. Somebody got hit by a train again? Oh, we did get a message from New Transit Police. It said an inevitable rail strike on 516. This would result in complete suspension of New Jersey Transit rail service, including Metro Northwest to Hudson service. Mm-hmm. Says for the latest update, service alternatives and New Jersey Transit contingency plan, please visit NewJerseyTransit.com rail stoppage slash rail stoppage. Oh, New Jersey Transit Police is preparing to deploy additional personnel to ensure safety of the public, New Jersey Transit System, and hmm. Okay, New Jersey Transit Police expect to see most visible presence of New Jersey Transit Police as well as personnel from our partner law enforcement agencies. Please note there's a stoppage rail system is alive and used by outside agencies including both transportation and freight. So no Conrail and I mean Conrail still owns it, but Conrail doesn't operate trains anymore. It's CSX and Norfolk Southern. Says for your safety, do not trespass on New Jersey Transit rail infrastructure and remain clear of areas. Despite increasing deployment, please remain vigilant. Let us know if you see something that doesn't look right. Yes, this crazy governor. Where is his press conference? It is now 10:44. I'm trying to figure out if there's something wrong. Mm. Mm. It's just spinning, spinning, spinning. I don't know what's going on here. Spinning some more. It's always spinning. But again, Phil Murphy's spot too. Shouldn't be making comedy while people's transportation is on the line here. Hmm. Yeah, I get messages from my son here, and sometimes I can show you to you because I don't know some of this stuff is acceptable to YouTube. The fact that James Comey don't have handcuffs is kind of uncomfortable. Somebody also calls him a traitor. Hmm. Yeah, I wonder what journalists must be thinking about. Yo, James Comey should be arrested. Yeah, well, give me the information that I need about New Jersey Transit. Worry about Comey later because we know where he is. You can always get him later with handcuffs. Mm-hmm. Whew. This is getting ridiculous. Let me see if it's on networks. Maybe we see if it's covering it. Let's see. Talks continue between New Jersey Transit and its rail engineer union on Thursday and are expected to go down the wire as they try to reach an agreement to avert a walkout by the union. How to get to the Shakita MetLife show among New Jersey Transit strike talks. You're already there, so where is it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still looking for the governor. Mm-hmm. Well, while we're waiting, let's see. I got an update from ABC News. New Jersey Transit rail strike hours away as talk continues. It's now hours now. It's an hour and a half. Is that him? Oh, we got it.
On my left, the president and CEO of NJ. Mr. Mayor, say hello to you. Mayor Raz J. Baraka, thank you for being with us. This evening, I'm joined by the president and CEO of NJ Transit, Chris Calori. You'll hear from Chris in a minute. He will help explain the current status of negotiations. We are stepping up to help New Jerseyans get where they need to go in the event of a strike. First, a little bit of context, if I may. For the past several weeks and months, our entire administration, and especially Chris and his colleagues, have been working around the clock to avoid a strike and keep NJ Transit operating at full capacity. As always, our single highest priority is the trains running and providing the best possible service to our state's commuters and taxpayers. And let me be absolutely clear, here in New Jersey, I'm honored to be the quintessential organized labor state. In our efforts to preserve that reputation, NJ Transit proposed a full contract that was agreed upon by 14 of the agency's 15 labor unions. Every single one of them, except the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, otherwise known as BLET. That overwhelming level of support from nearly all of the union workers employed by NJ Transit is as good an indication as any that it was a fair deal. And just last week, Chris and his team also signed a 4-year agreement that is consistent with the established pattern, and that's important, with the largest union at NJ Transit, the Amalgamated Transit Union. They represent, by the way, more than 5,500 NJ Transit employees. The point is, in terms of context, our administration has been working in good faith to provide the wages and benefits that our employees at NJ Transit deserve. And I'll be the first to acknowledge that all of the agency's employees, including our locomotive engineers, are the backbone of New Jersey's public transit system. But the workers and families who rely on our transit system every single day are the backbone of our entire economy. And any possibility of abandoning these workers and families, our neighbors indeed, at the last minute would be completely unacceptable and unjustifiable. Now, I don't want to get ahead of Chris or his colleagues who are working and still are working 24/7 to reach a resolution. But I will say this, like many mass transit systems across the nation, NJ Transit is facing a sobering fiscal reality. That is a challenge we balance with paying our engineers and every NJ Transit worker what they deserve. In that spirit, back in March, Chris and the BLET's representatives shook hands on a contract that would pay the same hourly wage, give or take literally 10 cents an hour, as engineers with the Long Island Railroad. In other words, it would have given their members almost exactly what they have asked for, being paid the same way as engineers at other transit systems in our region. And crucially, that contract would have provided our engineers their hard-earned raises without blowing up NJ Transit's budget. Indeed, at the time, Blet's general chairman, Haas, even called it, and I quote him, a fair and fiscally responsible, quote, contract. So while the Blet's members ultimately rejected that agreement, this much is without dispute. We must reach a final deal that is both fair to employees and at the same time affordable for New Jersey's commuters and taxpayers. Again, we cannot ignore the agency's fiscal realities, because you want to know what would happen if we did. Just look across the Delaware River and see what's happening with SEPTA. Due to the agency's ongoing fiscal challenges, officials in Pennsylvania are now talking about cutting SEPTA services by 45%, while at the same time also hiking fares by 20%. Can you imagine that here? Reduce services at a higher cost. That is not something the people of New Jersey can afford. Our administration has worked relentlessly to put NJ Transit on stable fiscal footing. Doing so has required some really tough calls and compromises from all of us, lawmakers, workers, employees, employers, paying the corporate transit fee, and especially our
that's
neighbors
my
and
son in the
taxpayers.
bathroom.
So now we need the members of the BLET to step up
Doing
and
his own
meet
thing.
their obligations
Sorry about that.
to the people of New Jersey.
Keeps me
Let's
here.
get back to the table and seal a deal. And let's move forward on meeting our most important responsibility of all, serving the needs of New Jerseyans who rely on NJ Transit. With that, to turn the podium over to Chris, who can share specifics on the steps he and his team are taking to help the people of New Jersey get where they need to go in the event, especially in the event of a strike. Thank you. Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your leadership and your trust in the agency to make sure we carry out
First time I
our
got to see
mission
him.
to make sure that the 350,000 daily riders get from their place of home to work and back safely, efficiently. That has been our mission since the first day. It will be on until the very last day of this administration, and I'm sure beyond. For those of you who have heard me speak on this subject in the last several weeks, I've said, thanks to Governor Murphy's guiding principle, that any deal we strike must be fair and fiscally responsible. Not an either or, it is conjunct. They both have to be met. And that is the spirit in which I've approached these negotiations from the very start back to my first week on the job. As early as this past Monday, we were invited by the National Mediation. Both parties voluntarily appeared in front of the board, precisely with the intention of reaching this fair and fiscally responsible deal. In fact, I said so much to the board when I met them. I said, that is the only thing that matters in these situations. So what has happened since? I want credit, the general chairman, where credit is due. The last 4 days, we worked tirelessly together to try and figure out whether we can reach precisely this deal. It shouldn't be that hard because we did it once. And we did it once in just over a few weeks. And that is after this particular union has been fighting with New Jersey Transit for well over 7 years. So we certainly, I thought, did something that was right, which is adhere to what his objectives were and still adhere to what the governor has always stated recently as his budget address, that he intends to leave this state in a fiscally sound manner so that no other governor whether it's next year or years from now, will be holding a fiscally irresponsible package that we negotiate. That's the fundamental issue. So in the last several weeks, we tried to get to this deal. So where did we end up? We started with the proposition that the general chairman always says, that I want to make, my members want to make a wish that is comparable to what the other agencies make. I don't quite agree with the notion that somebody who lives in New Jersey and works in New Jersey should be entitled to make a wage that is as if they live and work in New York. But so be it. I took him at face value that that was his. So we then worked towards that goal. And in fact, last day, and especially a few hours ago, even a few minutes ago, my clock is a little messed up, thought we actually got pretty close. So the dispute is not about whether we can actually bridge the gap between what he thinks his members are entitled to and what we think they're entitled to. The problem or the challenge that currently exists is the second part of the principle that just cannot ignore. There is no point in providing a compensation structure to a group of my colleagues which ultimately ends up bankrupting the agency. And you may ask, why is that? There's such a small group of people, how they possibly bankrupt an agency? And this is how, and I've said this over and over again. Unlike any other transaction, a union negotiation is inherently about if one union gets a better deal than the other, the one that did not get a better deal is automatically entitled to that compensation. It is called a Me Too clause. People can shout from the mountaintops and say, oh no, it does not apply here. And I could tell you, and I'm sure the mayor has seen this in his in our own city, that is just a fact of how these negotiations work. So where did we leave it? I said to them just a few minutes ago, and by the way, I said, I'm going to say this to you, so this shouldn't be a surprise to them. I said, I respect the offer they put in front of the table. I respect the negotiation undertook with me over the last several days. And I respect the fact we came close to reaching a wage rate that they think they're entitled to. Those are all facts. Where we could not bridge the gap is Me Too clause. There was no way in which the structure that was proposed by the union could ever allow me to not invoke, or not me, the other unions from invoking the Me Too clause. That is basically where the dispute stands. So I'm going to suggest to you that this is not a lost cause. This is an imminently achievable deal. In fact, when I left them, I said, I hope we continue talking about this. And the National Mediation Board has reached out to us already. And because I had invited them to be part of the negotiations these last 2 days, they've already said, let's meet on Sunday morning and to see and pick up where we left off. And I think that's a good sign because just as the governor said, no one, especially this governor, wants to see the 350,000 riders live distracted. Neither do I. But we have a contingency plan should the union decide to strike. But what I want to assure you is my commitment to the government and to you is to make sure you understand that I am not leaving the negotiating table. I never will. Because ultimately, this is an achievable deal. We just need to make sure now we do it in a fiscally responsible manner. Because the consequence isn't just some other governor who's to follow Governor Murphy's going to be responsible for that financial package we leave them. But the impact could actually cascade onto the riders who will be required to pay more in fare, or businesses who may be asked to pay more in corporate transit fees. That simply is not an option that we can support in this negotiation. So that's where we are. And I wanted to make sure, Governor, I thank you again for giving us the ability to go and negotiate in good faith And I want to assure you that this privilege that you afforded me to run New Jersey Transit is not something I take lightly. It is not an entitlement. I understand the obligation I have not only to you, but equally important, if not with all due respect, more importantly to the riders. That is what I am trying to do every single day, and I will not yield on my commitment. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for your leadership. That's all. Any quick questions given the hour, please?
So I'm not clear. Do you believe that they're
Sorry, we're going to ask you to speak into a microphone. I apologize.
Pat McGee Times? Do you believe that they're going to walk out at 12:01 or not?
That's their call. That's not ours. That is entirely their decision. Fair to say?
Yeah, they have not informed us.
Please. Sorry, again,
Hi,
thank you
Governor
for...
Murphy. Mary Lynn Buckley from 1010 Wins. We just received an email from NJT locomotive engineers who have just announced they are on strike. What's your reaction to that?
What?
Not shocked. We were hoping for the best. We're prepared for the worst. Chris can get into the details in terms of emergency plans. And I would say above all else, our door is wide open. It was never closed, and it is not closed as I stand here. We are willing to sit, to talk, negotiate at literally a moment's notice. Do you want to talk about contingency plans?
Yes, sir. Look, as the governor correctly said, we did not, it is up to the union division, and they've made it. And but as the governor said, over 2 weeks ago, we announced a plan that was months in the making that essentially provides a contingency plan for those folks who need to work. As I will repeat this fact, 72% of our rail riders typically get to New York, about 40% of our bus riders typically get to New York. What will run in this strike now? Amtrak will continue to run, PATH will continue to run, our buses will continue to run, our Access Link will continue to run, light rails will continue to run, and the ferries will continue to run. In addition to that, we are going to have a supplemental bus service that are connected to the main stations like Newark, and also 4 park and rides throughout the state of New Jersey that will feed people who need to get to work. For the rest of them, we're going to ask for your patience. And if you're able to work from home, we really would ask you to do that.
I may hit that last point. If you can work from home, certainly tomorrow, and you're watching out there, that would be a really good day to do so. Please. Thank you.
Can you speak to the National Mediation Board? You've been in touch with them. Is there any interim Congress or to intervene, to impose a contract? Have you gotten any sense on whether or not they want to intervene in this?
Yeah, I'll start, and Chris can come in behind me. Forget the fact that they've reached out to both sides and invited a session for Sunday morning is a good sign. So that is a good sign. I'm hopeful that the union will take them up on that. I know NJ Transit will. And they've proven to be a valuable convener in this process. Nothing from Congress at this point, although we're speaking of Congress, we're taking any advice and counsel we can get, and we'll continue to do so. You want to add?
That's it. Governor, the only thing I would add is Congress has the right to intervene should it decide.
Please.
The Me Too clause that you were talking about. So are you saying that the contracts with the unions say that if you give an X% raise to the engineers, every other union automatically gets that percentage raise starting immediately?
Yeah, it depends on the term, right? So if let's an example, if an agreement that we struck with BLAT says that a raise would go into effect outside the pattern that everybody else has already signed on to, and it doesn't specify that the increase is strictly for something they can do, then it automatically triggers this Me Too. That essentially starts a process for which every union, 14 out of the 15, come with their letter, and they all have a letter that essentially says this. It's basically, in normal language, it's called in most favored nation status. So essentially, they just come with this letter and they say, you gave them this, we would also like it. That starts the clock.
What?
And it turns from something that is a single-digit million or a low double-digit million fiscal reality into a 9-digit fiscal reality. and that's something that NJ Transit can't bear and we can't justify. Again, you've got 350,000 plus neighbors, commuters, our fellow workers. Their commute is at stake here, and we've got to make sure we treat that above all else. I think we hear. Thank you.
Sorry about this one. You said you promised to fix NJ Transit, or it would go, yeah, it looks more broken than when office. Can you talk about that?
It's not more broken. That's just a false premise, with all due respect. The progress has been enormous. We just talked about the NJ Transit Board yesterday approved the final approvals for entirely new rolling stock in the train side. On-time performance, safety, customer satisfaction are all up meaningfully since we took office. That doesn't mean we haven't had bumps in the road. This is clearly a bump. Last June was a bump. I think we've taken, and Chris done a fabulous job in his first number of months at the helm, and there's a big team of NJ Transit folks with us tonight. It's a really strong team, and I would just dispute the premise of your question completely. Again, that doesn't mean we're perfect, so don't get me wrong, but no transit system is.
Could you
Look at my example of SEPTA, may I just look at that for a moment. 45% reduction in service, 10% increase in fares. None of that's happening here. Please.
Just bring us into the room. You made it seem like that you were very close, or pretty close. Why couldn't you get there? And are you at your best and final offer here?
Yeah, so I'll give you the sort of 10,000 foot answer, and Chris and I have been back and forth probably 20 or 30 times every day for the past number of days, if not weeks. Remember the two balancing objectives here: a fair deal with the union and a deal that does not blow up our fiscal reality, either at NJ Transit or more broadly at the state. I think Chris said pretty clearly the former is largely, if not entirely, within reach. But the manner in which it was left does not meet the second objective. And I'll leave it to Chris to say what does that mean in terms of how far from an actual deal, but we could not abide by the current state given that second objective of not blowing the fiscal picture of NJ Transit up. Any color on that?
Yes, sir. The only thing I would add to that is negotiations sit on a continuum. They don't sit in a finite time period. So I think it would be correct to characterize this as there's been a pause in the conversations. That's the way I view it, because I certainly expect to pick back up these conversations as soon as possible. If they're willing to meet tonight, I'll meet them again tonight. If they want to meet tomorrow morning, I'll do it again. Because I think this is an imminently workable problem. The question is, do they have the willingness to come to a solution? And Governor, with your permission, I just want to, and this is a commentary I want to add to the previous question. I've now been involved in public transportation and mass transit for over a quarter century. There's not been a single governor, and I've worked for 5, who has ever refunded mass transit in its 45-year history. Never. And there's never been a governor who's committed to modernizing the fleet of rolling stock by placing the order by the time he leaves office, so by 2031, the entire fleet would be modernized. No other governor has done it, and in the history of this 45-year agency, it has never happened. So if you want to talk about metrics, that is a good metric to look at.
I paid Chris a lot of money to say that. We had a very good experience into the Shakira concert at MetLife tonight. We break because Chris and his team are literally headed out to MetLife to make sure the experience out of the Shakira concert is as good as the one in. Does anybody have any last second questions? Yes.
Forgive me. I mean,
You may strangle someone here.
I know. I'm going to try not to clothesline anybody. I just wanted to with absolute clarity, understand what happens now. It sounds like you're still somewhat far, at least somewhat far apart. You don't have a deal. does that mean there is now a strike? Is it imminent? Is it happening? Are they walking off the job? Where are?
I was just told by this woman that they sent them. That's their decision, not mine or Chris. That's the union's decision. It sounds like they've made that decision. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Again, we've been hoping for the best, but preparing for. And I would say unequivocally that our doors remain open. Well, let me just say that unequivocally, including tonight, tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, certainly. We are going to remain open to sit, discuss, negotiate, to do whatever we can to bring this to a positive outcome, which is, again, meeting both objectives. A fair deal for them, and a deal that does not blow up our fiscal. Real quick, if you could.
Lastly, so
We got to give you a microphone. I apologize.
Hi, sorry. So when NJT just left the table to come over here with you, you did not know they were planning to walk. Are you surprised finding out this way that they issued a statement to the media instead of telling you while you were at the table?
No, not at all. And I think we said that we were expecting that, but we're not surprised by it. That's their decision. They have a right to take that step. We've got, Chris and I have to worry about 350,000 commuters and neighbors in our state. Again, our doors will remain open, and we're going to do all the contingency steps that Chris has alluded to. We got Lily, one more, because I got to let you go. Actually, Chris is doing the on with Shakira.
Wow, that was so funny. I forgot to laugh.
Hi, does pattern play a role here?
Pattern bargaining?
Correct. Does it play a role here?
Very much so. No need to elaborate. Thank you all very much. Thanks for coming out on short notice as well. Deep thanks.
Well, you just heard from the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, and the CEO of NJT Transit. They're still, even though they're still trying to negotiate. Yeah. By the way, that loser from Newark is there too. I see. Maybe I don't know. Again. Anyway, the governor and the CEO talking about they continue to talk, but it looks like the talks might have broken down. They say a tweet or a text or something from the union saying that they are going on strike. So until we get a confirmation, we don't know if they're on strike or not right now. I don't know. It's not like I can look at the window see if the trains are moving or not. I mean, the closest train to me is CXX over here in not far from here, in Inglewood. Looks like it's going down to the wire, and looks like they're not gonna be able to come up with a settlement in less than 44 minutes. I mean, stranger things has happened, but I'm not holding my breath on this. We have about 9 minutes left, so basically, governor and the CEO once again had a press conference. We had a problem using their system. We had to use ABC live feed to get the information. They had negotiated for quite a long time. They even had the mediators from the National Labor Relations Board trying to come up with a settlement. They had an early agreement, but it was rejected by the membership, and they continue. Meanwhile, the other 14 unions have an agreement. The thing is, they're concerned if they were to come up with a different version of the contract than they want, then this Me Too clause would kick in and worry about their financial situation. Well, I know a lot of transit systems are having financial problems, well, because of the COVID, and unfortunately they decided to, shut everything down, and came back to bite them in the rear end. New Jersey Transit's having a problem. The subway's having a problem. It doesn't seem like Pat's having a problem, but I could be wrong. So they said tomorrow, if the strike does happen, you still got the ferries, like in Hoboken. You got the PATH train, buses, but I'm sure they're gonna be crowded. You have park and rides, and they're gonna have bus service. Um, and then they come up with oh, the CEO's supposed to have an encore with Shaquilla, and like, and I thought my jokes were bad, folks. No. Yeah, funny. They're doing jokes while everybody's biting nails at home, wondering if they're gonna be able to get in tomorrow by train. I may look like it may not happen. Uh, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I mean, they've been negotiating, but the two sides just can't get um, the common goal that they want, the contract they want. But to be fair, a lot of times, a lot of people in New Jersey Transit does work there for a short time, end up working somewhere else to make more money, like Amtrak or North along a railroad. Yeah. So lines like the Spring Valley line coming of New Jersey Transit and Metro North, those may not be working. Um, I don't know what the New York contingency plan for these particular areas where there's a joint surge between New Jersey Transit and Metro North would be. You have to go on their website to see what their plans are. But like I said, you got the ferries and you got the buses that are still running. On the light rail services are running. The Hudson Bergen line will be running. The New Jersey subway will be running. The Newark light rail will be running. Um, like I said, PATH will be running. Ferries from the Hoboken terminal will be running. I don't know what other ferries they have in Jersey, but I'm sure they'll be running. And if you're wondering, the last time they had a strike, I don't remember what was the last time, but it lasted 34 days. So, so you might need a lot of patience for tomorrow. It's unfortunate that this is occurring on the last day of the week and not the beginning of Monday, but we'll have to see what happens. Well, I'm getting a little tired. I'm gonna get ready for bed. See what happens tomorrow. Oh, yawning on the hair. It's not really professional, but then again, I'm not snoozing off like some members of Congress, right? What? Did I miss a bit important? No, no. Yeah, a couple of members of Congress falling asleep on the job. Oh yeah, if I did that on the job, they wanted me to the to relations, and it's not a good thing. Send to the principal office for your punishment. Well, okay, you just saw live on my live feed the governor of the state of New Jersey, Phil Fee, and the CEO of New Jersey Transit talking about the situation with the contract negotiations. They've been trying to negotiate until the last minute, but we're not sure right now the trains are not because they sent a text or email to the press saying that they're on strike, but we hadn't seen anything from the media saying actually they are striking or not. We just don't know. So this I can't say for now. Don't forget your stop. I will be on the on one of the buses tomorrow. See how the traffic situation is, and if it's bad, I'll report to you live or video tap it, whatever, just in case. Okay, so I can't say so long for now. Don't forget your stop. Let's hope for the best, but brace for the worst.